Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Boss Rush Podcast, a great place to play games and be better. I'm one of your hosts, Corey Dirrig, and alongside me, as always, is the mad pharmacist herself, Stephanie Klimov.
I found Smushi's cousin, and he's home. Hello, guys. I'm super
Hello.
excited
I
for
see what
tonight.
you did there.
Let's see.
Hey!
Also joining us is PK Power, Pat Klein.
What's up, everyone? I made it to the podcast.
You did.
Record
Pat,
time.
I have an issue, and I need you to talk me out of this issue. Stephanie
Uh-oh.
already knows.
Ugh.
But we'll talk about it when we get to what we've been playing.
It's
But
heresy.
we have a very special guest tonight, the developer of Smushi Come Home.
Hello.
Noah Alone, aka SomeHumbleOnion.
Woo!
That is me. Thank you for having me, guys. This is awesome.
Very excited to have you. Stephanie and Pat will not stop talking about your game, so it is very fitting that you're here. I'm always very interested to hear about development and developers and their journeys, and especially a smaller game like this, right? Because it's seems to be gaining some traction. When we put out the call that you were going to be on the show today, it got a lot of likes and retweets and very, very popular in the Discord. So
yeah, that's awesome. I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah, very happy to have you. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and, kind of the elevator pitch of the game, and then we can kind of go from there. I'm sure Stephanie and Pat and I all have many questions, as well as our audience. So
Yeah, totally. So my name's Noah, but yeah, like you mentioned, most people know me by my developer name, SomeHumbleOnion. And yeah, I created Smushi Come Home. I worked on it for about 2 years. It's been published by Moon Eye Studios, awesome publisher, small team out in Germany.
Very
They
cool
published
people.
very cool people, very passionate team of developers who transform themselves into publishers. And they created the game Lost Ember, which you may know, and they published Haven Park. They're also publishing Farewell North, all just awesome games. And yes, also got to give credit where credit's due. Smushi Come Home also had a composer, Phil Positive, amazing musician. If you go and play the game, I'm telling you, you're gonna get lost in the soundtrack.
It is a perfect soundtrack for that game. It
Thank
fits
you.
the environment.
Thank you so much. He did an amazing job. And yeah, Smushi Come Home. It's really just a chill little game. It's you play as a lost little mushroom in the forest. There's no combat. There's no fall damage. There's no losing to the game. It has elements of popular open world games like Zelda, Breath of the Wild, stuff like that. You've got a glider. You can climb around. You can explore areas at your own pace. Chat with like quirky characters. The writing is very heavily inspired by Adventure Time. I love that whole goofy vibe. So it's kind of got like a goofy, lighthearted aesthetic to the game with also some real world messages that I try to put in there, and also educational. It's a little educational game as well. You can learn about real life mushrooms in the game. You playing as a little sentient mushroom. Why not learn about your kind as well? Yeah, it's just a short, fun little adventure game. A lot of people are comparing it to like a short hike and little gator game mixed with Zelda and Pikmin. I think that's a really good description, um, especially since I pulled inspiration from like a short hike and Pikmin and Zelda. But that's really kind of it. It's not a huge game. It's just a small, casual little game to kind of chill out and vibe with, and hopefully, if you're having a bad day, it helps lift your spirits up.
I really like I'm watching it right now because like I know about the game because of Stephanie. And Stephanie, you said you saw this at PAX, right?
We met him at
Yeah.
PAX, and I got Pat and I played the demo. Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
I'm kind of watching the trailer a little bit right now. I love that you can ride a capybara. That looks so fun. I kind of just
Gotta
wanna...
have them in there.
That
I'm a
was a
huge
pretty fun
capybara
part.
nerd.
Yeah, so it's funny because my daughter is a huge fan of Encanto, and there's like a very sarcastic capybara in there where like it just doesn't care about anything that's going on. It's very funny.
That's awesome.
So yeah, this is I really like the look of this game. I need to grab my Switch so I can,
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
uh,
I download on my
Mhm.
Switch. Pat, did you play it on the Switch or do you play it on
I played it
Steam?
on the Switch. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
it
thank you guys. I really appreciate it.
it's what, only on Switch and Steam right now?
Yeah, Switch and Steam right now. We've got like a 20% sale on it. It's gonna be on sale for quite a long time on Steam. Actually, we got kind of like a special approval from them to be in the summer sale. Like we're like kind of
Oh, nice.
transitioning into it.
Oh wow,
Um,
nice.
so they've given us a good discount time there, and then we're on sale on Switch till like June 26th, I think, or something.
Okay. And yeah, you've been promoted on some various things in the last few weeks. What stuck out to me was the wholesome games.
Mhm.
And Corey will make fun of me later because I get like extra gushy when they're like special guests of mine.
Hmm.
Like,
Mhm.
um, I just like what your intro, like you're swiveling in on your chair and you're like, oh, hello. And the reason why I point that out, and it's not like me criticizing other developers when they're on, but like a lot of
Mhm.
them, like they're not used to presenting themselves either on camera knowing that like hundreds or thousands of people are going to see it, which I
Mhm.
would be like a deer in headlights myself. But you just seem so natural and smooth. You're like, hey, I didn't see you there, I'm working on this, I've done this game. So like I just felt like that just chill vibe that you gave off talking about your chill game is just very, I don't know what you want to call it, but just it's refreshing and
Yeah.
stuck out. I can't talk. I'm too excited.
Yep. Which leads us to our very first question: how many takes did that take?
Uh, oh man, it took like several takes because I had my girlfriend filming it, and
Hmm.
Aw.
she would try to film it, and she would just start bursting out laughing when I would start talking because she's just never done anything like we've never done anything like this before, and I was trying to be kind of serious, but I was also being kind of goofy, and so she was laughing at both
Aw.
the goofiness and me pretending to be serious, and like it took a lot of takes. Um, but
Sounds
yeah,
like
no,
she's a
it was really
super
fun.
supporter and like helping you out with that. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
absolutely. Oh, she was my biggest support in making this game. I mean, making game is tough. It
Mhm.
is a really tough thing, and there were plenty of days where I really wanted to just kind of just give up. Tons of, especially because I had very little experience in game development. I kind of just jumped into it 2.5 years ago, and just started working on Smushi 6 months after that. So there were definitely times where it was tough, and she was the one that was always there who was believing in me when I wasn't believing in myself. So
Aw.
I owe a lot
Hmm.
to my girlfriend, and she's definitely been my biggest support. But yeah, filming that little part was really fun. We had a good time with it, and I'm really glad to hear that it like stuck out. That's really cool to hear. It's kind of what I was trying to do. I know a lot of developers they do it in a different way. But for Day of the Devs, I don't know if you guys have seen any of the
Mhm.
recent Day of the Dev showcases, but the developers always present themselves in like really unique ways on there.
Yeah.
They really have fun with it. So I kind of got inspired by it, and I was like, my game is goofy and chill. Let me have like a goofy and chill intro for the wholesome direct, and maybe people will find that kind of funny. And I'm glad to hear it like like
Yeah.
resonated. That's what
Hmm.
I was going for.
Yeah, I this game, I mean, this game looks super fun. I'm kind of upset
Corey,
I
the
didn't
game
play it
is
before you came on.
amazing. You should try it out.
I'm going to. I'm going to, as soon as I ask the next question that there's probably a long answer to, I'm going to go grab my Switch and get it.
And download it.
Yeah. So I really like the simplicity of the art style. I really like the kind of, it's not quite cell shaded, but it's very colorful. I like, again, the capybara. I like the waves that, like when the
Mhm.
water, like when he's swimming, like the water pops up around him. I really like
Mhm.
that. I really like the animations are
Mhm.
super clean, and I'm one of those people who really like simple, clean animations.
Yeah, no,
Uh,
thank you.
and I really like like the way the shadows are done on, like,
Mhm.
there's a scene in this trailer where it's kind of dark out, but there's like a light being
Mhm.
cast from somewhere, and the shadows are really well done, and
The
it
lighting
just
is
looks,
actually great.
yeah.
There are scenes
Thank
where
you.
you're in dark caves and you have a little headlight that's basically lighting your way, and just the movements and how the shadows just play around. Even if you're like seeing an object and you just kind of see the shadow like hit it, it's I mean it. If you didn't tell me that this was your first game that you ever made, I would not have known. Like
Yeah,
this
I don't
is
know if I
smooth.
believe you now. This is the
Mhm.
like the like even the way like the little like the when the creatures are talking and their like little head movements and stuff are so clean. It kind of has that like old school Star Fox vibe, but like better,
Yeah,
like way
I,
better.
thank you.
Mhm.
I
Uh,
really do appreciate it, guys. That's really sweet of you. It's definitely a game that I kind of like poured my heart into, and I was doing it full time. You know, I quit my job to pursue this passion, so that kind of helped me really polish it. I think when people sometimes people are kind of shocked when I tell them this is my first game, but I'm also like I was also doing it full time, so I was able to really pour like 110% of myself into getting get getting good at the skills and doing all those little polishes. But that's really sweet of you guys to say. I'm glad to hear you guys enjoyed the art style and are appreciating the
mhm.
little details that I actually spent a lot of time in there. It's always cool to see players see those things.
I also
Yeah.
really like the little gimmick because yeah, it is a very smooth looking game, but you also have the choice to pixelate it,
Yeah.
and the choices of pixelation down to that very last one was absolutely hilarious.
The yo I can't see setting.
I'm like
Yeah.
looking at that, I'm like messing. I'm like, yo, I can't see it. It's so spot on.
It was a fun setting to play around. I that was actually the original art direction, because I was really pulling inspiration from A Short Hike, and the developer Adam Robinson Yu, he really like he wasn't the first one to do it, but he made it look so good, that like crunchy 3D Nintendo DS kind of vibe, PS1 kind of aesthetic. And I love like the 3D pixelated look. I've always loved doing that with games, or when games do that. So I tried to recreate that with Smushi, and it started off as that. And the thing with that aesthetic is that if you have too much detail in the world, the pixelation effect becomes quite noisy. And so I kind of stopped using it, but I still left it in there if people wanted to play with it on. And it still kind of works. And it's just kind of like a fun little, setting if you want to play with it. Some people do it, some people don't.
Mhm.
I think Corey's looking for it.
I am.
I had a
I'm
feeling.
yeah, I'm on my Switch right now. Here we go.
My smushy senses were tingling.
Mhm.
Oh wait. Why is it having me enter my zip code? That doesn't make sense.
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're mentioning the cell shading effect too. I noticed you've got the Wind Waker plushie up there.
Yep.
Yeah, that
Mhm.
was also a big inspiration for the art direction, as I'm sure a lot of like cell shaded indie games are. But Wind Waker was like one of those games to do it so well,
Mhm.
and I'm such a huge like GameCube fan. Like all my favorite games are on the GameCube, and Wind Waker's clearly like obviously one of them. So that
I
was a
know
big inspiration.
isn't that amazing? At the time when Waker came out, it had this huge backlash, like, "Oh, this isn't a realistic adult
Yeah.
Zelda," which I
Mhm.
mean, I don't know, but the hindsight's 2020. Everyone now loves Wind Waker, and if you really think about it, as far as like aging, Wind Waker still looks great compared to some
Yeah,
other games that didn't age so well.
If you mention
that's so
Twilight
true.
Princess, you're
Mhm.
dismissed.
Hey,
Yeah.
just because Twilight Princess doesn't necessarily look that great doesn't mean it's
Oh, it
any
looks
less fun to
amazing.
play.
Did you play the Wii
Yeah.
U version? Looks
No.
amazing.
Okay.
I haven't seen
Amazing.
that one actually. I need to though. But that's very
Mhm.
true. Those stylized games that don't aim to look realistic, they always just like aesthetically, they hold up better.
Yes.
That over time, that's very true. I think that's kind of one of the reasons why I always enjoyed just like games that don't try to look realistic. I really do enjoy. I think that's one of the things that
There we
indies
go.
really do well.
Mhm.
Nice.
Yay.
Good
Yeah.
job, Corey.
Yeah.
Thanks.
We look forward to your review next week.
Mhm.
Yeah. I'm excited to read
I'm not
Mhm.
writing anything.
it.
Now, Steph's our writer, so
I'll take care of that.
Awesome.
I'm.
I like
Mhm.
to
Nice.
pretend that I write too, but
And I
You're
just
there in
really like to
spirit.
play the games and then
Yes.
talk about them.
yeah.
My
Nice.
writing skill sucks.
Mine
Uh,
too.
so I actually have a question. Since this was your first game and you have a publisher, right? Was it
Mhm.
hard looking for a publisher? Like, was it like how did you go about that process?
Yeah, that's a good question actually. I get asked by that a lot from like aspiring devs. And I always just have a weird answer because the norm is that as an indie dev, you create a pitch deck and you start hitting up publishers, and you start having all these pitches, and it's a really complex process. It sounds really scary. I got kind of lucky. Moon Eye just hit me up on Twitter. They reached out to me. I didn't have to do any sort of pitching. I didn't have to do any of that, like preparing pitch decks and things. It just kind of happened. I got hit up by Moon Eye, and I got hit up by a few other publishers, and Super Rare Games was one of them. They're a really awesome publisher as well, really cool team. I ended up meeting them in London. I flew down there to visit some family, and I got to hang out with them. Super cool
Wow.
people. And that was after I rejected them. They were still super down to just hang out. Awesome team. But yeah, again, like Super Rare Games and Moon Eye, I didn't have to pitch to them. They just kind of hit me up. I think that just comes from posting your game online a lot. Smushy wasn't even really that big, I would say, online. The tweets would get like maybe 100 likes or something like that. Um, but yeah, I guess they saw some potential in the game, and I really just got super lucky. Honestly, I wasn't even looking for a publisher at the time, and even when they hit me up, I didn't want to sign with one. It wasn't until I realized, oh crap, I can't do this on my own. Like I need to get this game on Switch and I can't do it by myself, and I need to finish paying my musician and I don't have enough money. I need a publisher. And I'm really glad I signed with them, honestly, because I would have not been able to get this game out, especially within this time frame, without that extra help, having people who know translators and stuff like that,
Mm.
getting all that done for me. But
Right.
yeah, I got pretty lucky, they hit me up.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. I'm glad they saw something, because sometimes you hear stories of people looking for publishers and they just don't want to work with you because they're a myriad of reasons, right? So,
Yeah.
I think this game stood out enough clearly, and that's
Yeah,
good.
no, thank you. Thank you.
So I'm actually going to dive into some of our Discord questions. We don't want to take up
Awesome.
all the time.
Mhm.
When you open the Discord, because I'm a terrible human and don't have it ready. Just singing the song while I open the. Okay, so the one true James writes in, and he asks, what makes an exploration game so cozy?
That's a good question. I would say if it is able to really immerse you and you're allowed to get lost in it without you having the stress of combat, of hurting yourself, hurting someone else in the game, the stress of losing something permanently, and just those worries that come, I think, with most action games. Not that I'm throwing any shade to action games. I love combat focused games. Um, but yeah, that doesn't really emit that cozy vibe. In order to get that cozy vibe, you really have to be in a stress-free environment. And so if you're making an exploration game, it's like what I do with Smushi. You can't get hurt in the game. You can't really go the wrong area because eventually you're going to kind of just get turned around on your own by exploring freely. So the level design has to be done really well. And then just putting small things here and there around the level, whether it's an NPC who's got a funny little dialogue to say, or maybe a little item that you can use for something later on. Just fun little things like that that again don't exude any stress. They just bring out more wonder in your head and make you maybe make you question things about the environment, but in like a fun way. I would say that's what makes it really cozy.
So yeah, the I really appreciate an exploration game. Like Zelda's kind of in the zeitgeist right now, and I get so distracted because I want to go explore, but sometimes there's just stuff in the way, like enemies that I don't want to deal with, and
Hmm.
sometimes I wish I could just like turn it off and or like turn it way down. Tomb Raider did this really well, where they had different difficulty levels for certain aspects of the game. Like you can make the puzzles harder, or you can make the combat super easy, or almost really non-existent. Right? You could kind of button mash your way through the enemies, and I kind of I know that Zelda would never do this because it's Nintendo, but like I would really I really want Zelda to have that, and I think that
Hmm.
not having combat in an exploration game is probably a really smart idea, because you like when you get distracted by something while you're exploring, you don't have to worry about anything sneaking up behind you, or that kind of thing. So I'm excited to explore without getting hammered with some sort of rock or fire.
Yeah. No, I totally relate to that. That's kind of one of the reasons why I made Smushy, because shortly after playing A Short Hike, I like really got into these um, shorter games that don't involve a bunch of combat, and it was just so refreshing and so fun. And I think it's really difficult to craft an exploration game that doesn't have combat, because combat does bring you that sense of excitement and that little rush that you need every now and then. But like you said, sometimes it can be too overbearing, and sometimes you just don't want that. And that's kind of why I made Smushy a shorter game. I do feel like if Smushy was too long, I mean, a lot of people, probably one of the bigger feedbacks I get, even though people are heavily enjoying the game, they still say, like my only complaint was, I was like, really sad for the game to end. I wish it could have kept going. And I definitely wish I could have added a little bit more content, but I was afraid that, this game could get dragged on a little too long. After a while, you're gonna need that juice, maybe from like some sort of combat. Not everyone needs that, but I was kind of starting to feel that as I was playing my game over and over and over again. Um, so I definitely see what you mean, and I mean I hope that like when you play Smushy after playing like a ton of Zelda and just like other, more combat focused exploration games, you can kind of like feel that refresh. And I'm curious to hear. I mean, I am curious to think, or to hear if you think that like you would have loved to see, you wanted more of that. Like you needed even longer of a combat refreshment. That would be interesting to hear, because it sounds like people are actually wanting more of that, and I wasn't expecting that. I thought people were going to get burnt out with Smushy by the end of it, but they were
No, that
like,
you did a
no.
great job, and not only like creating a little like each environment was different, like even like the third area and like that just the traversal changed just that part of the game and made it fresh.
Mhm.
And honestly, I enjoyed exploring each and like every little nook and cranny that I could find. It's like I got to make sure I find all the rocks. I got to make sure I explore every part of this cave. Make sure I didn't lose anything. Like
Yeah.
you accomplished what I felt like you wanted to, and you're exploring. That's what I did. That's what I enjoyed.
Mhm. No, thank you. I'm glad to
Mhm.
hear that. It's always nice to hear that, because it's one of those things where, as since it's kind of just me working on the game, and I know where everything is, and I'm constantly making it, I'm constantly playing it, I really did lose that sense of exploration in my own game. So it was hard to tell at times. It was one of the reasons why I did so many play testing towards the end. And I would always kind of like hand my game over to my girlfriend and have her try it and be like, "Do you feel different about this area? Because I just can't tell anymore. I've got super bad tunnel vision." So that's always really nice to hear that like it's worked out. After a while, I just wasn't sure. I was just kind of listening to the feedback from my playtesters, and they said it was good, and so I would roll with that. So I'm glad I trusted them, and yeah, I mean, I'm really glad to hear that.
What excites me about this game too is like, so my my daughter is gonna be 5 soon,
Oh.
and so like she is like, she knows I play video games, so I can't tell if she's at that age where she like wants to play games or she just wants to play it because I'm playing it. And like, so I downloaded a few games, right? Like Yoshi's Crafted World and the Kirby Star Allies demo, and like
Mhm.
uh I let her play Mario Odyssey a little bit. But the
Nice.
challenging thing with those games is that there's combat still. Like even in Yoshi's Crafted World, you have to like learn how to jump on the enemies or like throw an egg at them, or you're gonna die even in the mellow mode. And like
Right.
she was getting a little frustrated with that, to the point where like I turned on Mario Odyssey and just let her run around the Mushroom Kingdom uh uh realm or whatever, because there's
Mhm.
no enemies in there. But then I kind of felt like she was bored because she wasn't accomplishing anything.
Right.
And so like I wonder if Smushy is like the right combination of both, right? Like, and obviously like she's 4, she's not gonna like beat the game or anything, but like just have her run around and explore and find things without worrying about something coming after her, like
Hmm.
that's kind of what I'm excited to play too with her and see if she likes it. Uh,
Yeah.
so
No,
I mean,
that's awesome.
yeah, I mean, I don't know if you had that in mind, probably not, but like that's kind of where my mind went with kids who are like starting to maybe be in the games at some at some point. So, uh,
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely something that like I did design the game so it could be played by all ages.
mhm,
My target audience was, like cozy gamers, wholesome gamers, and those are kind of like people, like your age, my age, I feel. But there's also a lot of kids that really like it, and I was surprised to hear a lot of nice comments from parents who would play the game, and they'd really enjoy it, and then they'd pass it off to their kids who are like 5, 7, and then they would really enjoy it too. And it's good to I was a little worried that maybe the dialogue is very easy to read, but I was a little worried that since it is kind of dialogue heavy, not all kids will be able to play it because there's a lot to read through. But it sounds like it's working, so I hope she likes it. That'd be really cool. It's definitely, the platforming might be a little difficult, like you said. She's 4, she might not beat the game. For a
mhm.
4-year-old, the platforming challenges might be difficult, even though it's not really like a platformer game. Um, but yeah, I mean, I hope she enjoys it. That's really cool.
Yeah. I, I, I look. I just really want my kids to play games at some point, and like, I don't want them to get discouraged, right? Like Mario Kart, I
Yeah.
have all the like kid buttons turned on where they go automatically and stay on the course, and you know, uh, and
Yeah.
they like that, but like my son was playing it the other day, and he's 2.5 or 2 and a couple months, I guess. And
Hmm.
he was playing Mario Kart, and every time like he would cross the finish line, he'd be like, "Yeah," and I'll be like, "Yeah, you did it. You are in 10th place, but you did it." Uh,
Man.
but it's I mean, because like when my first two games were uh well on Atari, like we had Kaboom and Combat and a really terrible version of Pac-Man, but like games are so sophisticated now that like
Yeah.
I never know where to start them at this point because they're like I mean, they watch all these CG cartoons and stuff. If they go play like Super Mario Brothers, right? Like they're gonna be like, well, this looks like crap. And so
Yeah.
like I want them to look at something and be like, that looks interesting, and it's simple and it's easy and fun.
Hmm.
And so I think that this game kind of fits that category.
Well, let me
Yeah, that's
break
cool.
it to you, Corey. No matter how much you want to set your kids on the right path, like show them old school Mario 3 or something, they're just going
Mhm.
to end up playing Minecraft like my child and
Oh
disappointing me.
no.
So we're gonna
What
get to
happened,
that.
Steph? What
We're gonna
happened?
we're gonna get to that when we talk about the Nintendo Direct. But there's a Princess Peach game coming out, and my
Yeah.
daughter
Yes.
loves Princess Peach, and
What-
so
I wonder if it's gonna be anything like the DS one that came out like several years back,
The
where
one
she
with
had
her
the
emotions.
emotions. Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about that one. I thought this was her first game that they just
Nope.
dropped.
Mario and Luigi were captured once before.
Honestly, it looks promising. I think it looks like a pretty cool game.
yeah. All right. So our next question is what is your favorite thing in Smushi Come Home that excites you so much you want everyone to know about it?
Ooh. Uh, probably the mycology journal feature.
Mhm.
It's optional, it's totally optional. I've made it so you really can't miss it though. Like you get it pretty early in the game. Um, and it's not something that everyone is necessarily using, from what I've seen. And I totally saw that coming. I noticed it in the demo. But when people do get excited about it, I get super excited about it. I'm no mycologist, but like mushrooms are just so cool. Um, and I just love that little feature so much. I put a lot of time into it. I did a lot of research, and uh, I don't know. I if you've ever played Pikmin 2, you'll know the Piclopedia, which was kind of like that area that you could explore before, like when you were kind of in the overworld space, and it would let you look at different creatures and stuff like that that you've found in the game, and you can feed them and you can read facts about them. And as a kid, even though that stuff was all fictional, I would spend hours in the Piclopedia, just like messing around with the little 3D viewer and like reading facts and stuff. So that is the mycology journal is kind of like Smushy's Piclopedia to me. So
Nice.
I was like really passionate about that, and also just being able to like put some learning into the game because mushrooms are just so cool. Like there's so much potential to them, I feel. Not that I'm trying to be like some crazy mushroom dude here, but I like they're awesome. Like we should really be learning more about them. And I do think that's a feature that not a lot of people really talk about. Because again, it's optional and there's like a lot of text in it. Not everyone is like gonna be sitting there and reading through like information text when they're playing a game. I totally get that.
But it's
But yeah.
cool because it's actually written by Smushi, so you're actually getting a bit of Smushi's personality in these texts.
Yeah.
And some of his thoughts on some of these mushrooms are kind of they get a little disturbing at times, but
Yeah.
you
Yeah, when they
know
start talking about the edibility of mushrooms, Smushy gets a little scared.
Ooh.
he's like, I'm thinking, wait a minute, why am I thinking this? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's exactly one of them. Yeah, I had a lot of
Yeah.
fun with the writing on that. It was cool to do the little smushy notes and like even
hmm
people. I watch streamers. They'll check out the mycology journal entries and they'll skip the mushroom fact portion, but they'll still read the smushy notes and like that's still fun to see. It was a fun little part to write.
hmm
Oh.
That's so fun. Pikmin 2, top tier
Top
GameCube game.
tier.
Everybody,
hmm
you can now play it on Switch.
Yes, go try it out.
So, uh, our next question. Uh, what are what are s- what are some of your favorite games? That's literally
uh,
the question.
well,
Whoops.
well, I think this might answer the question
Yeah.
here.
Aw.
Favorite Pikmin, first of all, red Pikmin. That's
Hmm.
actually where the smushy nose comes from because I love the little nosy that the red Pikmins
Aw.
have. So that's why I gave Smushy a little red Pikmin nose.
I love it.
Um, and so yeah, Pikmin. Obviously, I'm the biggest Pikmin fan. Like Pikmin 1 and 2 are my favorite games of all time. Um, but I won't get into that because obviously we've talked about it a bunch already.
I mean, we
Terraria.
can talk about
hmm
Pikmin the rest of the show if you really want to.
I mean, don't get me started, man. Like I said, Pikmin is like I started playing it as a kid, and it was like the first game that I really just would sit down and just go in. I don't know, Pikmin 1 and 2 just have such a special place in my heart, and I can replay them forever. Um, but I'm also like probably right below Pikmin 1 and 2 would be Terraria. I'm a huge Terraria fan as well. Love sandboxy games. I didn't play much Minecraft, but I did grow up playing a lot of Terraria with like my older brother. We would play online and we would play through every single update that they would drop. They'd do like 1.0, we'd play through that. Then 1.1, we'd restart a world, play through that. I've got like hundreds of hours on that game. And then a
Nice.
short hike. Honestly, that's a top tier game for me as well. If you haven't played a short hike, I highly recommend it. It's like, oh, it's such a good game, such a breath of fresh air, and it really, really influenced a huge amount of indie games. It really made waves in like the cozy game genre.
Hmm.
I'm so lazy, but you said a short hike and you mentioned super rare not too long ago, but I have
Oh my god!
the su-
Whoa.
Hey,
yeah, super rare
I,
games
I
of
don't
short hike.
I don't have. I'm jealous. I don't have the collector's edition. That is really cool.
I couldn't help myself, even though I really blew my budget at buying all these collector editions, but good choice.
That is
hmm
so cool. That is so awesome. Does that one have the map?
I believe it
Right?
does. Yeah.
Oh,
Pretty
I'm
sure it does.
jealous.
It's still wrapped. I have like I have the game digitally so I could play it, but then I have that
Right,
wrapped. I don't know.
right.
That's
That's
usually
awesome.
that's usually what happens with some of the indie games, especially the Switch physical copies. Like I'll get
Mhm.
it digitally and wait for the physical copy and just leave it sealed because that's what you're supposed to do. Even though I just want to open them all, but
I've got to open mine up. I'm
hmm
just like I tear into it. I gotta start reading all the manuals and
Mm.
stuff, and like looking at all the little drawings and things. And
yeah.
I'm definitely hoping to collect some more indie physicals. That's like the only one I have, honestly.
Mhm.
Mm.
I
Can
really
I
want.
interject with the question here?
No,
No,
Please. It's
fine.
related.
it's related.
Smushi Come Home Physical Edition. When are we going to see
Oh
this?
man, That's another question I've been getting a lot in like my social media comments. Like I said, I already have been talking to Super Rare Games. We're cool. We might be in the talk of one potential physical already. It's a little
Question
too
mark?
soon.
Question mark?
It's it,
Question mark?
it's it's a little too soon. They need to see how many copies the game sells and stuff like that, and then figure out things like but we're already kind of talking. I've already reached out to um like Ryan and stuff like
You
that,
can
and
tell
and
them
Mhm.
already that if the Super Rare ever makes something like this for your game, I will buy it as soon as
oh
pre-orders
man,
go live. So
we've got one sale
one
locked
sale,
in. That's
guaranteed.
it right there. That would be really cool to get a physical with them, with them being the ones that also did the physical for Adam, because I'm just such a big fan of him, and he's such a cool dude too. Honestly, if I could ever collaborate with him, maybe even with like a physical or something. I don't know if I'm like dreaming too hard, but he's just like, oh man, he's such a big inspiration. He actually played the demo of Smushy too, and he gave me like some really cool feedback, and he was very nice. I didn't think he was gonna reach back out to me. Um, oh, such a cool dude. He's like
Oh,
exactly who you would think when you play that game. Just like a genuinely kind developer.
nice.
That's awesome.
I had to nerd out there on him. I'm sorry.
No, it's nerd out. Love it.
Still saying Shane asks, what is your favorite and least favorite thing about game development?
Ooh. Oh man, there's so many of both sides. uh, I would say my favorite thing for sure is just being able to make the game. Like that's just so awesome to actually do the art, the writing, the programming, all of it, um, and then see it come to life. Like that is for sure my favorite part. Being able to make something and then play it. And I feel like I never got that when I was doing programming in college. I was coding and I wasn't seeing what I was coding. So with games, it was like I could put my art into this sort of medium and then experience it and see other people experience it. So that's definitely the best part. Is just like finishing it, playing it, really experiencing your own creations in that medium is the coolest thing. But least favorite, uh, probably I enjoy the programming. There are days where like I really love programming, but it's also at times the most difficult thing. I'll be honest. Like programming could probably it would probably be my least favorite. But it's not always the least favorite. It's just sometimes it's like this is a nightmare. What is going on? I wish I was just working on 3D models or something like that.
So you said you're using Unity, right? Do
Yeah.
they I'm sure they probably offer a lot of like tutorials and tools that help you program and do stuff. Do they offer that kind of stuff, or they kind of expect you to go in with some sort of knowledge and then you just use their program to use it, or their
They
engine?
do have they do have tutorials. I didn't use any of them to be honest. They were all a little too complicated and they were like using their own Unity projects, and like I would have rather started from the ground and like from the ground up instead of like jumping into this like pre-made project and like trying to figure out what they're doing.
Hmm.
So they do have tutorials. For me, I just hopped in on YouTube and I was just going through tutorials by Infenzia. Infenzia is a fantastic Unity dev. Brackeys, they're like the most popular known one. I kind of just hopped in there and learned off YouTube. There's Udemy courses, but I don't know, Udemy courses are always so slow and they're paid. I didn't
Hmm.
really get that far with those. YouTube is just like you can literally learn anything on there. It's insane. Just how much free resources there are. So yeah, any aspiring indie devs out there listening to this, I would say don't even bother really with the Unity tutorials. Just start browsing on YouTube and just find like a series that's got 10 videos and it's like making this game from scratch and just go through that. That's kind of what I did.
My son is so lucky because, I mean, granted he's 7, but he says that he wants to make a video game that's part
Nice.
Minecraft, part Mario, part Zelda. I guess that's a combination. And he's like, I don't know if I'll ever be able to do it. I'm like, dude, these days you could just hop on YouTube and learn. But let's get you
Yeah.
through school
Hmm.
first, or at least like a couple grades.
Let's teach you
That's a good idea.
cursive, and then we'll go into programming.
Yeah. No, but like that's so true. Like literally kids that age could even start learning how to make games now. It's like so accessible to everyone with all these like insanely powerful game engines. Like Unreal
Hmm.
is just anyone can hop in there and start making games in there. I mean, that's just kind of absurd when you think about how, not absurd, but just mind blowing of how accessible this stuff is. So yeah.
Is there a reason why you chose Unity over Unreal, or like why Unity spoke to you?
For one, the programming language, Unity uses C sharp. Um, Unreal uses this visual scripting tool, which I didn't really like the whole visual scripting thing. And if you wanted to break down that, you had to do C++,
Hmm.
which is a nightmare. I hated coding in C++ in college. C sharp was just much easier for me. And then a lot of indie games that I've played were made in Unity. So that was just kind of like, well, I don't know. I mean, the games that I enjoy are in Unity, and so maybe I should just stick with that. And Unity is also just used more, so I felt like if I ran into issues, there would be more answers online. That ended up not really being the case actually, but it it definitely helped. I was actually using a Godot before I started using Unity. I learned game development for like 6 months in Godot, which is a free, very awesome engine. Um, but it just wasn't very good with 3D yet. So I was like, okay, I need a 3D game engine because I know I want to make a 3D game. It's gonna be Unity or Unreal, and yeah, Unity just seemed like the choice because of that programming language and just because the community was bigger. And yeah, Unreal is cool though. I might play around with that someday.
Yeah, I mean Unreal, like as accessible as it is, it seems like like it's requires some sort of like, I don't know. I feel like you got to be well versed in game development before you kind of start messing around with Unreal. Or
It feels like that too, and I can't say that. You know, I have no experience, and I know a lot of developers out there who have very little experience and they just hop into Unreal. But it does feel like that, right? You know, it seems like this really more complicated engine, and I don't know if that's true, to be honest.
yeah,
It could be easy.
I wonder if it's just the way they show it off, like between all the different things they've done with Fortnite and Unreal
Hmm.
Tournament and Gears of War over the years, and like how Microsoft is showing off their games with Hellblade and everything they kind of just announced at their showcases using Unreal, and it's like, man, that looks super complicated. But then like you turn on what
I
was
would say it almost looks unreal.
I mean, it kind of does. What was
Oh,
I playing? What was I
Whoa.
playing the other day? That is using Unreal that was super simplistic. I forget what it was, but it's like super simplistic and super like. I'm like, man, these engines can do. They're so versatile, and
Yeah,
all,
yeah, totally.
and and like, man, game development. I too want to make a game someday. Will
Dude, you
I?
totally should. And you totally can. I'm telling you, anyone can make games now. It's so accessible.
Man. So I know we are going to definitely bring you back for some sort of 1v1 or spotlight, probably a spotlight because I think Smushi deserves a spotlight.
Oh.
But so it's out on Steam, it's out on Switch. Do you have any plans to bring it anywhere else? I ask
Yeah.
everybody we have on here that develops games because like here's the I'm going to preface this question because I know a lot of indie games kind of skip the Xbox for one reason or another, whether they're waiting for the Game Pass check or they just don't think people will buy the game because it's Xbox. Are you planning on bringing it anywhere else?
It's tough to say. I've spoken with Xbox already. They're really cool. They wanted to put Smushy on there, and I kind of just stopped talking to them for a little while because after I signed with my publisher, they were like, let's do that later. Let's focus on Switch because Switch is definitely a bigger target audience for you. And I was like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so maybe if the development cost for it isn't too much, I'd love to put it on Xbox. That'd be really cool. PlayStation as well. Um, I probably wouldn't be doing the porting. It would probably be my publisher. And so I'm talking to him about it. But again, the game's only been out for like a week and a half. It's
Yeah.
kind of difficult to say still if we would be able to do that, but it's very possible. I will say that. It's very possible.
Yeah.
Is it
No,
still charting out on Steam right now?
Last I saw, we're surprisingly still on the new and trending tab. I think we're at the bottom of it now, just naturally since there's so many of the releases. Yeah, it looks like we're second to
Mhm.
last, but man, I didn't think we were going to be up there that long. I thought maybe 5, 6 days, and it's now been like 12 days. It's kind of crazy.
I'll I'll let you enjoy this success you're having before I'll bug you again. I'm really happy
Thank
though
you.
that you're finding. I'm very happy that you're finding success. I'm always happy when you see the little guy find success because I mean, let's be honest, the big guys get all the attention a lot of the time unless you're in like an indie director or wholesome director or something. And I'm very happy that Smooshy is finding some success, and I can't wait to play
Thank
it
you.
this
Yeah.
weekend.
Mhm.
So
No, thank you so much.
everybody, go buy it. Go buy it. Everybody has a PC and a Switch at this point, especially in our audience. So go go buy it. Stephanie, did you play it on Steam Deck
Check it out.
or Switch?
No, it's on my Switch,
Mhm.
Okay, I
Yep.
was just
which
wondering.
is
Comes highly
odd, but
recommended.
I'm just so biased. The Switch is like a fraction of the Steam Deck's weight. That's a big
Yeah,
so.
I know. Well, Laurent got the Ally, and I'm like, oh man, I really want one. I really want one. But
I'm trying to get a Steam Deck too.
yeah, it's well, look, with all this smushy money, you can buy like 3 of them.
Hey, hopefully, yeah, that'd be cool. But I haven't
Uh,
had the chance to try it on one yet, but I've heard it runs pretty good on the deck. So I'm
Oh,
waiting to get that verified
oh,
sticker.
nice.
nice. Um, yeah, once it does, we should put them in touch with Steam Deck HQ, and maybe they can do something with Smooshy. So,
That'd be cool.
uh,
Yeah.
yeah. We had them on a couple months ago. At this point,
Oh,
that was another
awesome.
one where Stephanie got like real about. So,
That's awesome.
if you want to be a Patreon producer, head on over to patreon.com/bossrushmedia, and find out which tier is right for you. Our Patreon producers at the $5 tier or higher for this month are Adriel Munger, Austin Campbell, Celeste Roberts, Christian S., Sana Dirrig, Francisco Santillan, and Rebecca Jewell. Thank you for your continued support. All right, let's get into what we've been playing because I really want to get into our topics because
Yeah.
there's so much to talk about. We're gonna start with you because you're our esteemed guest.
Sure, yeah.
Do you have time to play games other than Smushy? I'm sure you've been playing that for so long that you're like dying to play other games at some point.
Oh, you have no idea, man. I've had so many games on my library that I've purchased. And surprisingly, like this week now that I was doing so many hot fixes on the week of release, and now I'm kind of able to actually chill out a little bit more. So I've been picking up some games. I've definitely been, like I said, I've been playing some demos, but not getting into demos. I'm finally going to start playing Hades. Very excited
Yeah.
for that. I'm
Mm.
a
All right.
big roguelite fan. Enter the Gungeon is like top tier for me. Super excited to start playing Hades. I'm getting ready to start continuing my Omori gameplay. That's going to be a fun one. Really big fan of that game. I got sucked into it as soon as I started, and I couldn't stop playing. It's super twisted. It's super dark. Um, but
Oh,
man, it's
okay.
so
I'm like, wait a minute. What? Yes, yes. I played that one. Yeah,
oh
it
yeah,
hits heavy themes.
yeah, it really does. It's fantastic though. It's such
Hmm.
a good game. Um, so I'm ready to start playing that, and then I'm still kind of going through. I'm sure as everyone is, I'm still going through some Vampire Survivors. I got the new DLC, so I got 100% that next. That game is
Nice.
just like my
That game's
dopamine
super addicting.
simulator, and it's
It's on
so
Switch now,
addicting,
right?
man. And
Or
that
it's coming.
what's crazy is that dev had made that game for like a whole year, and no one touched it. No one knew about it, and he just was still passionate about the game. He was still making updates for it, and one YouTuber picked it up and it just blew up, which you just don't usually see games get spikes like that after release. And yeah, that dude, he has just seen so much success with that game. Well deserved too. I mean, that's
Oh,
a really cool genre that he kind of established. I don't think he was the first one to do this kind of where you're the bullet hell, but he did it really well. And I mean, Vampire Survivors, man, God, what an addicting game. But yeah, that's mostly what I've been playing. I have a lot more on my list that I'm going to be going through. I need to finish all the Frog Detectives. I need to finish Night in the Woods. I own that.
Ooh,
Really excited to play that
Mhm.
one. Really excited to play
yeah.
that one.
I'm excited for that team's new game that they're working on.
Yeah,
I already
saw
forgot what
that.
the title is, but I wrote it down as soon as I saw the trailer.
I
I
want to
forgot
know
what it
what
was
that one's
too.
about. Like the
It has the
trailer looked
cat in it
cool.
too,
It
right?
just,
It does,
of course.
but it's an actual cat this time, not like a
Yeah.
sentient cat, I think.
Mhm.
Yep.
I totally forgot what the game is called too.
Right.
I'm trying to see if I can find it, but I don't see it on their
Was it
Steam.
the February Nintendo Direct? That
No,
was
it was just announced recently
World
at
Showcase, Summer Game Fest.
Summer Games.
Summer
Nice.
Summer
Game
Game Fest,
Fest.
that's where there was, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see it on their Steam. I can't remember what it's called,
Dang
but
it, that's gonna bother me now. Dang it.
me too. But we're
The
thinking the same thing.
just
We're
type in
still
the other cat
psychically,
game.
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
other cat game.
real quick, what are some of the demos that you've been playing on Steam that caught your eye?
Ooh, Not. Oh
Oh,
man,
okay.
Not, great demo. That is like playing that game, it feels finished. It
Okay.
is so polished, super chill, very satisfying. I highly recommend playing with a controller so you get the feedback.
Okay. Yep.
Because you're like cleaning up stuff. You know, you play as this like little underwater cleanup crew essentially.
Mhm.
Super cute game. Definitely one of the best demos I've played so far. Little Kitty
Okay.
Big City. That's been a fun one. That one made me laugh a couple times. I wasn't expecting the dialogue to be so good, but um,
Okay.
that's a really fun game. I'm actually ready to pick that one up as soon as it drops.
Nice.
Played a little bit of Surmount. Surmount demo was fun.
I played that. That is a lot of fun. The little
Definitely.
plopping noises when you're like suction cupping your way up and
Yeah.
down the mountain.
And I love the spiral technique.
Yes, it's fun.
I need more of that. I'm like, please let me use that more. It was so much fun. Um, yeah, and a couple of other small ones. I know I tried that one. What was it called? Oh, Sticky Business. That was a
Okay.
cute one. We kind of like make your own little stickers and stuff like that. And then Ollie Frog. That
Okay.
was like
Yeah.
the frog skateboard one. That one was fun too. It really did feel like Tony Hawk Pro Skater, but you're a frog. And it's just like
Sweet.
I'm sold. Like that's really fun. That's about it. I'm still going through
Mhm.
the next fest. I haven't been able to browse through it today, but hopefully tomorrow I'm gonna kind of go through it some more. But those are the demos that really stood out to me. I highly recommend checking those out for sure.
All right. The game you were thinking of is called Revenant Hill.
Okay.
Revenant Hill.
Yes, rolls right
Revenant
off the
Hill.
tongue.
And it was showcased at the PlayStation State of Play
Okay.
Gotcha.
because it's coming out on PS5.
Oh, so is it not coming out on Steam then?
It's probably coming out on Steam.
Revenant Hill. Ah, there it is. Okay, add it to my wish list then.
Man,
Gotcha.
Vampire Survivors. That's an amazing game. Sorry, I was playing it on Game Pass like a couple months ago, and then I stopped playing it, and now it's coming to Switch, and now I'm watching the Switch trailer, and I'm like, oh, I should go back to that game.
You gotta go back to it. And they're doing couch co-op.
I know,
Wow.
which is
Nice.
incredible.
Super excited for that.
Oh man, Vampire Survivors, top tier, the best
Top tier.
$5 you will ever spend. Everybody.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
just kidding.
easily.
And the DLC's $1.
Yeah. And it's good. It's just more Vampire Survivors. Like what can go wrong? It's just the same formula in the DLCs, and I'm like, sure, don't change it up. Keep going.
Yeah,
I'm cool with that.
Ain't
Keep
broke,
going.
don't fix it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Is that all? Do you have anything else you want to talk about?
That's really about all I've been going through. Because yeah, it's really just been like 4 days or so where I've finally been like, oh, I could finally jump back into my Steam library after 2 years of development and play something besides Smushi. So I'm still kind of going through it, but I don't have that much ammunition right now. But yeah, it's getting there.
Pat, what about you?
All right.
Because I want to pick your brain about something. and
Why
I don't
am
remember
I
if we
am I
talked about it
breaking up
last week,
here?
but
Oh, someone is.
Hello?
Oh.
Corey?
I can hear you.
It looks
Hello?
like Corey froze.
Yeah, that's what
Corey.
I'm saying too.
hello, I'm here.
Not
Oh.
Corey.
Tables.
Well, while he's working that out, Pat,
Yeah.
What have you been playing?
Well, I have completed game 19 of 30.
Wow.
Ooh,
19?
Game
Dang.
19 of 30, which
damn.
makes me wonder if 30 was too low of a goal for this year. That you don't know what I'm talking about, no, but I made a New Year's resolution to
Mhm.
originally beat 25 games, but then when I beat 3 games in January, I'm like, you know what? I think I could probably kick this up to 30.
Nice.
So I want to beat 30 games by the end of the year. And now I think maybe I need to kick this up from 30 to 40.
Do
I
it.
think you do, man.
Do it.
hmm
Do
I
it.
mean, I'm up to 19 as of June. So I think it could be a good challenge.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Do it.
Smushi was number 18, by the way.
Nice.
Yep. But number 19 is a Metroidvania, 2D Metroidvania called After Image. And I
Mm.
picked this up primarily because I realized out of the 18 games I played, not one of them was a Metroidvania, and I should shame myself because I do like that series. So I looked up like decently rated Metroidvanias at the time, and After Image was getting some pretty good reviews, and I liked the art style because it reminds me a lot of Ori and the Blind Forest. It's got
Mhm.
that very naturey, very colorful palette. But the combat itself is very much like Castlevania. So you have different weapons that you can equip, ranging from swords to whips to scythes. Um, but yeah, it is definitely more on a Castlevania side than say some of these more like Soul-like 2D Explorer games that have been coming out recently. The bosses can pose a little bit of a challenge, but if you just level up or maybe change your equipment, they can they can be beaten.
Mhm.
Unless your game freezes like it did, and then you just rage quit. Well, I didn't rage quit; I just raged, and then I went back to it. But in terms of the story, I would say the story is probably the weakest part of the game. Like they do a
Mm.
great job creating this wonderful world and some pretty interesting characters, but I feel like the game did not tie itself out very well, and just like it starts going to some very interesting directions. Like it just keeps getting bigger and bigger, and then it just stops, and it's like, wait a minute, what got concluded?
Mhm.
After all this, but I can forgive it because everything else was actually pretty phenomenal. The game is huge. It took me over 40 hours to beat this
Whoa.
Metroidvania. And there's plenty of biomes to explore, each one very colorful, from like beautiful red forests to Japanese floating islands and
Hmm.
sky palaces to like villages that clearly have been cursed and are haunted. Um, but if someone is looking for a Metroidvania and they can't wait for Hollow Knight or Silk Song, I would recommend giving this one a go. Like it was actually pretty fun
It
in
looks
terms of
beautiful.
gameplay. And also another thing I liked is just the variety of enemies. Like there are each region has like its own set of enemies, and there's just so many of them and so many like bosses. I think it's got to be somewhere between 35 to 50 bosses throughout this
Damn.
game. So
Wow.
Wow.
yeah, it is pretty fun. So I highly recommend it. Other than that, I've been addicted to Diablo 4.
Mm.
Oh, been wanting to
I
get into that.
I have a druid. At first, I was getting mad with the build I had, and then I looked up builds, and I found this one that just I absolutely destroyed people with earth spells, and I love it.
Druid's the class I was thinking of picking up too when I saw, because I mean, it's Druid. It's awesome. They never had that in Diablo.
I know. Yeah, I mean, you can transform into a bear, a wolf, or you can use lightning and earth spells. It's
Exactly.
perfect. And
What's not to get?
I know. And my guy, he's like this big, bulky, bearded person, kind of like myself, you know? and I got him some cool tattoos. He kind of strangely looks like Thor from God of War,
Hmm.
like the big fat dad bod Thor.
Mm-hmm. Dad bod door.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah, but yeah,
Nice.
that's what I've been playing. I'm looking forward to playing Pikmin when we're done recording tonight.
Nice.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Game's awesome. You're gonna have a good
Yep.
time.
Yeah, man. And especially playing the first one, because the first one's actually like, to me personally, that's the most difficult one. Because you got a
Really,
time limit. You got 30
Yeah.
days, in-game days to beat the game. Otherwise, you die.
Yeah.
I know the juice thing in the third one was a little intimidating, but then once you realize that fruit is very easy to find,
Mhm.
Yeah, it
it,
becomes quite easy. You can just gather like 12 days worth of fruit if you need to real quickly.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. Stephanie, what are you playing?
Yeah, I'll try to keep this quick. Some demos from the wholesome games. Of all of them, my favorite's Venba. It's
Yeah.
part cooking, like narrative, story driven about an immigrant family to Canada from India. Um, just I love the art style. I love the premise, the relaxing cooking aspect, and also just on a personal level, like as the I think second generation Chinese American, I kind of feel that pull too about how family recipes and the fact that that could die out if you don't, kind of try and practice. It hits
Mhm.
close to home in addition to it just being an absolutely visually good looking game. So I'm looking forward to playing the full thing when it comes out. Bubblegum Galaxy, I tried out because I like the Katamari-esque graphics and just silliness. You work in an office where you create planets, and someone or somehow entire galaxy got deleted, so you need to repopulate the galaxy with planets by solving these cute, like hexagonal puzzles. Very, very nice. Those are two that stuck out to me. Then, as far as gaming, Tears of the Kingdom, I officially beat it.
Nice.
Main story.
Mm-hmm.
I beat it the second night in a row and forced my son to watch me fight Ganondorf because because again, like I set my kid on the right path. I showed him all the old school Mario. The first Zelda game he saw was Ocarina of Time, and because of that, he asked to be Link for Halloween 3 Halloweens in a row. Like he was learning
Nice.
the good games, the real games, and then I
Right.
finally cracked and got him Minecraft, and that's all he cares about now.
It's just a phase. It's just a phase. He'll
Okay,
come back to it. I think so.
okay.
Steph, you're a terrible mother.
So we used to bond over watching directs and showcases, the appropriate ones anyway. Like we watched the wholesome direct together and the
Yeah.
Nintendo directs in the past. Today's direct, he wanted to fast forward through it so he could watch his Minecraft YouTube videos. I was very upset.
No.
Mm.
I,
No.
I resorted to the personality of a 5-year-old, and I'm like, "Well, Minecraft's stupid." Like I actually said that, and he goes, "Mommy, stop saying stupid. That's not a nice thing to say." I'm like, "Oh, it's stupid." Um,
uh,
Last but not least, before I dive into Final Fantasy 16 madness, I've been playing
No,
Nocturnal.
wait, did you play it?
No, no,
Oh,
not
okay.
yet, because I'm playing through Nocturnal, published by Dear Villagers, very nice publishing company. Nocturnal is actually a lot of fun. Um,
Beautiful game.
Beautiful game. Everything's like interactable because basically you return to this island. Everyone's engulfed by this dark thing, the mist, and you need to ignite your sword on fire and progress through the castle. But everything's interactable. You can set vines on fire, banners, rugs on fire, and you can't succumb to the mist. And there's some really fun platforming elements to it. So I, at first I'm like, well, this kind of seems like a well, I say take it with a grain of salt, like, "Oh, it seems like your typical cookie cutter 2D platformer, whatever." But no, like the more I played it, I'm like, this is got its challenges, is very intriguing. I want to know what happens because everyone's calling me a traitor. So I fully retract what I initially thought about it. Loving it. Love this game.
Yeah, I've had that one on my wish list for a while, and it's like that's that's a hidden gem right there.
Mhm.
It looks so well polished and just
Yes.
like I'm really surprised not a lot of people are talking about it because it just came out, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, it's a week or two, like a week or two, no more than that, because
Yeah.
I bought it day one when I got the email from the publisher. I'm like, oh, okay, well,
Hmm.
um, and I'm glad that I did. I'm glad I didn't let the assumption, sway my decision. And hopefully, because I'm
Hmm.
going to write a review on it, I want to talk it up and say, you guys got to try it, because, like I said, it is polished and it's definitely got the challenge that sets it apart from other games in that genre.
Hmm.
So, absolutely.
Definitely. I think it needs more attention too. It's from what I've seen, and I'm definitely gonna try to pick it up soon. It looks so fun, and it just looks so it's like underrated. It needs more eyes on it.
Yeah. So that's what I've been playing. Corey,
Nice.
Disney
Yes.
Dreamlight Valley? Just kidding.
No, not recently. I've been trying to. I mean, I was trying to book it through Zelda for book club. So, but for patrons, by the time you hear this, will be out on Sunday. And if you are listening on free feeds, it's out already on Patreon for just $1. You can listen to it a month early. Little plug there. So I've been playing a lot of Zelda. Um, beat all the dungeons. On my way to do something else. I don't remember. I got distracted when I was trying to go somewhere, and then I forgot totally what I was doing. Nothing really new to report there. I've been playing Destiny's Season of the Deep, and they just very. So they revealed some very, 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 very important information in this cutscene leading up to the final expansion, and it was like a revelation. If you pay attention to the lore in Destiny, it's like this huge plot point, this huge revelation, this huge like question we've literally been asking since the alpha came out. Like, what
Are
is a
you
trap?
really in the Matrix?
What is the traveler? Where does it come
Oh.
from? What is the veil? Like, who is the witness? And it's like they revealed all this
Is
in
it Cade 6?
no, but
Oh.
it's like, why wasn't this major story revelation in the campaign? Like the main
Yeah.
campaign. Not everybody buys the seasons. Not everybody's going to get this information.
Mm.
Why are
That's
you
a bit
putting
weird.
this in a $15 expansion or seasonal content? Right. Like I have a lot of thoughts. The information, like the story elements of it are amazing. Where they put it and how they presented it, not great. Not great. Sorry, Bungie. This was a bad decision across the board, in my opinion. And I know
Yeah.
I thought maybe like, am I missing something here? Like, is this like? And then I went on and watched like a couple of the Destiny YouTubers that I watch. Like Bife had a 25-minute video on why this was a terrible decision. Uh, he's like the Destiny lore master. If you want to know anything about literally anything about what's happening in Destiny, you go to him. He has like 5,000 videos on Destiny lore.
Damn.
But yeah, it was a pretty crazy revelation. I was kind of shocked at some of the information that they were giving us, and it's the end is coming for Destiny, and
Oh.
as Destiny as we know it, whether it's a new game afterwards or the end is coming, and it's very I don't know how I feel about it yet. I gotta about 8 or 9 months until I can tell you officially how I feel. But the final shape is coming, and they kind of just revealed almost exactly what it is in this cutscene.
It's like we
So,
realize the Traveler is not a sphere; it's a cube.
um,
Sorry.
well, right
The
right
final
now,
shape. Get it? I'm sorry.
well, it's
I'm on a roll.
I don't want to spoil it. Well, all right. Well, nobody
No,
that listens to this plays Destiny, so I guess I'll spoil it here. Like, so the Traveler, right, in Destiny is like the big orb that floats above the earth and gives all the players their superpowers, right? Well, there's the other thing in it. It's provides the light. Well, there's this other thing that we've kind of been exploring in this expansion called the Veil, and we've known about the Veil for a couple years, but we never seen it. We didn't really know what it does, and that's the power for the darkness. Now, the big reveal last year during the Witch Queen was the Witness is coming, and he is this kind of all-powerful being, and he's chasing the Traveler for some reason, and he's searching for the Veil for some reason. Well, this cutscene revealed why he's searching for the Traveler and why he's searching for the Veil. When you have the Veil and the Traveler together, he can rewrite reality and rewrite history the way he sees fit. And we learned that the Traveler, like his people, like the Witness's race, whatever it is, we don't know. We're kind of calling them the predecessors right now. Seem to be the first receivers of the light from the Traveler, to the point where like the Traveler was buried in their planet, and as it rose out of their planet, it was providing them, not only good fortune and prosperity and the light and everything. And then they also found the Veil, which is like they thought the Veil would give their long lives meaning. And so the Traveler, my theory is that the Traveler is not running from the Witness, it's running from the Veil, because when you have them together, you will be able to rewrite reality. So there's a lot going on right now. And I was like, but
Yeah, I mean that's intense, man.
That's
That's
pretty
the end
cool.
of the lore right there.
yeah. So, and we still don't know why LC break and time travel. Hopefully that gets answered soon. We don't know. It's fine. But that's what I've been playing. We want to get to the Nintendo Direct. Man.
Oh boy.
So the Nintendo Direct today was, I would say it was a pretty good Direct. It had a lot of things in there for me. I know people were like asking for Zelda HD ports already. I'm like, dude, we just got Zelda like 2 months ago. Relax.
Yeah.
Everyone's that. It's always that. Every time there's a Direct.
I know. Look, as much
This
as I
could be
want
Wind Waker and Twilight Princess.
as much as I want Wind Waker and Twilight Princess on Switch, and I think we're going to get them next year. I really do now. Like
I think
based
so too.
based on Metroid and Pikmin and Mario Sunshine a couple years ago. Like they're moving the GameCube and Wii ports in, right?
Yeah.
And so those games are coming.
They're
Also,
gonna come, but they'll come in time. I mean, look, I'm obsessed with Zelda, but I'm like, I'm okay. Tears of the Kingdom will tide me over for a time. It's okay.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. And so but there was a lot of great things in here, a lot of cool remakes, ports, new games. So I just kind of want to go over maybe like 4 or 5 things you guys were excited for. Maybe we'll go a little bit round robin. So I'm going to go first because I went last time. So the thing I'm most excited about, honestly, is Super Mario Brothers Wonder, the 2D Mario game.
That looks good.
I love 2D Mario games. I could never play another 3D Mario game and be just fine. I don't really care for 3D Mario games unless they made a sequel to Super Mario 3D World, which is the best Mario game ever made. But New Super Mario Brothers U Deluxe, or U, I guess, on the Wii U, super underrated, I think, because I think people were just tired of the new Super Mario Brothers games regardless, and nobody bought a Wii U. So
that's true. No one really did get one.
Yeah. But I think that game is amazing. I think it has some of the best 2D level design. I love it. I love that game, and the fact that we're getting a new 2D Mario game with new mechanics, new art style. Looks like they're kind of playing with like they're doing the Ratchet and Clank thing where like they're switching dimensions in some form. And everybody's obsessed with Elephant Mario now. First it was Cat Mario, now it's Elephant Mario. So that game looks incredible. I mean, so good.
Yeah, what I will say is it made me feel relieved because in a world of 3D open world all the time, I don't know, I just feel like especially new gamers might lose any interest in 2D. I was almost afraid that 2D was going to die, at least in the AAA space. But this is just like, oh, that's great, because I would love to see another 2D Donkey Kong, a 2D Zelda, like a different kind of 2D, but like a 2D Zelda. Like there's a lot of wonderful things that can be done in a 2D game. So
Totally.
Yeah. So I'm really excited for that. I'm gonna man, I'm gonna play the crap out of that game when it comes out. That's my number one. That was the thing. That was my most. That was the most exciting thing I saw today. So, no. What about you?
Definitely Pikmin. Pikmin 3 news. I think for me, the last, I forgot what it was, but whatever that direct was where they shared the Pikmin 3 trailer, um, that was like really huge. And then here we got just the Pikmin 3 trailer enhanced. We got to see the second Pikmin type, the glow. I think they were called the glowing Pikmin.
glow, yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
you can explore at night,
Um,
which I haven't played Pikmin yet. Yes, I will play 1 and 2, but I've just learned that you can't go out at night or something, or you if you
yeah,
do.
Yeah.
you basically start your day in the morning, and then
uh
at night, all of the creatures in Pikmin are basically like nocturnal for the most part. So you end your day at night. So this is yeah, that's a new thing. It's gonna be super super cool. I'm really excited for it. I'm glad we got to see more of Pikmin 4, and they like explained more of just what's going on, what the story is. But honestly, like this might come to a surprise, but like I'm already super excited for Pikmin 4. I already know it was coming out, and I've already been seeing tons of leaks online. My biggest excitement was seeing the Pikmin 1 and 2 ports, the remasters. Just because like that is a game I have a lot of like younger kids in like my Discord, for example. And they didn't grow up on the GameCube. They didn't get to play those games that to me I think are like top tier games. Um, it's like the only way you get to play those games is if you use like an emulator, and it's like that sucks.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So um actually letting the younger generation now try out the first two Pikmin games, and like Pikmin's just getting more and more love. Like it used to be a really underappreciated, I feel like Miyamoto um um just like game of his.
Mm-hmm.
uh I believe that's it, right? I believe he's the one that
Yeah,
created
Yep.
Pikmin.
he
Yeah.
originally coined it as the Mario Killer.
Yeah, which is kind of
Hmm.
intense. It definitely wasn't that, but it's just one of those games where like it never got enough love, and like recently it's been getting bigger and bigger. I feel like with the Pikmin 3 port to Switch, that brought in a lot of new Pikmin fans. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
just to be able to let like younger kids and people who never got to try the first two now try it on the Switch in handheld. Like I'm super excited to try that out. I was gonna actually just start replaying the first two on GameCube, like literally this week, and yeah, now
I
it's like I can
wonder.
just do it on my bed.
I wonder if they're gonna bring though, because they ported the first two games to Wii, and I wonder if they're gonna bring the motion controls over from there because like the Pikmin 3 is one of like three games I actually like really love motion controls on, because you can use the Wii remote nunchuck on the Wii U on Pikmin 3, and you can have the gamepad propped up or in your lap or whatever as like a map of the
Right.
island, and like it's the only way you can throw and run at the same time also.
That's true. Yeah, I didn't think about that. You normally don't do that.
Yeah,
Um,
so I
yeah.
really that was like okay, this is awesome. I wonder if they're gonna do that. I mean, I
Yeah.
guess
I
yeah.
didn't think about that. That would be really cool. I never did play the Pikmin 1 and 2 Wii ports.
Hmm.
Um, were you able to do it in those?
I think so. I mean, it's been like 20 years since I played those games. So on
Yeah.
the Wii, so I don't really remember, to be honest with you.
That would
Um,
be awesome though. That would be really cool if you could do that, because
be so
I hope
helpful.
that people don't get too frustrated with 1 and 2, because they are more difficult and a lot less forgiving than 3.
Hmm.
And 3 came with a lot of accessibility features like the lock on feature,
Hmm.
where you can just lock onto something and then throw your Pikmin. Like in 1 and 2, you've got to be
Hmm.
aiming.
Yeah,
There's no locking on, and that is difficult.
yeah, yeah.
I'm wondering if they brought that in or not. I'm really curious to see if they like ported some accessibility of Pikmin 3.
I wonder, because it seems like sometimes with these remasters they do a little bit, or like the remakes or something. Because like I know that obviously Skyward Sword is kind of the most recent one, right, where they actually added the controller support. Uh,
Yep.
you know, in Wind Waker and Twilight Princess on Wii U, they fixed some of the harder side quests and did some quality of life things for those too. So
Mhm.
I wonder. They added modern controls to Metroid Prime Remastered, thank God.
Yeah.
So feels like
Hey,
a normal.
I'm here for any amiibo to come along with Pikmin 4. Just saying.
Yeah. Me
Oh, man.
too. I've got a
You
little
know, if they
Olimar
do,
here.
it's going to be the dog.
Need more.
Yeah.
It's gonna be it might be Otachi, I think was his name.
Yeah.
Ochi?
I think it's
O-
Ochi.
Ochi?
I think you're
I
right, yeah.
I
I
have
just hope they don't overuse him. Like Pikmin's about the Pikmin.
yeah.
Mm.
That's what I was thinking too, man. I was when they first showed him, I was like, "What is
Mhm.
this? This
It's
is a
like
cute little guy, but what's going on here?" I mean, he's like, he can swim. What's the point of having blue
he can
Pikmin
swim,
now?
he can fight, he can
Can
carry
fight.
heavy things. It's like, dude,
Yeah,
he's the entire Pikmin race in one.
exactly. So I'm kind of curious how they're going to balance this dude out. I mean, he's cute. He seems cool, but
hmm
yeah, I really hope we don't lose focus on the Pikmin. That would really suck.
Yeah.
Very much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, that Pikmin news is just awesome. I'm really happy to see a Nintendo Direct that was like Pikmin was the emphasis because we've never really had that before. But now that the fan base is actually quite big, it's like we're actually able to do that. And we've been waiting, man, like what, 10 years or something? 9 years for Pikmin 4 now.
Yeah.
So it's really cool to see like everyone get excited about it actually. And it's like it's big enough, it's up there. And yeah, I really hope people get to enjoy 1 and 2 ports. I hope they don't get too frustrated with it because, like I said, they are a lot more unforgiving than 3.
Yeah. I'm glad they're remastering and HDifying, the good games like Pikmin instead of Earthbound and F-Zero.
Um,
Whoa!
Hot take.
hey
Shots
there.
fired!
Oh man.
Shots fired on the Earthbound lovers.
I know. Oh man. Look, where were you in 1994 when that game came out and they were in the $10 bin at Toys R Us? Huh? That's all I have to say.
Damn.
That's all I have to say. Should have bought them all. Stephanie, what about you?
Would be okay, I'm getting tired. Would be no one's surprise that one of my favorite things where Ed and I literally screamed in the writers Discord was that the Zelda and Ganondorf amiibo were announced.
Oh man.
Yeah. I was kind of thinking because I'm not it's not that I know that they're going to come out with DLC or no DLC, but I'm wondering if they announced the amiibo at this point because not that it leaked, but didn't someone find code or information like someone found information of like a
They
Ganondorf.
they data mined the amiibo
Yeah.
and the code because they need to put the code in there for when these things come out so they work.
Yeah. Anyway, but I was excited about that. I had
They
it
said
up.
holiday, right? Holiday is when
Holiday.
those are dropping.
Yeah.
That's a while from now, man.
We'll buy
That's a
we'll
lot.
buy the Zelda one for sure.
Mhm.
You don't want Daddy Dwarf?
No. Oh my gosh. Every time somebody says Daddy Dwarf, I cringe and want to go cry somewhere and hide under my desk.
I'll remember that. I found the trailer for Myth Force to be really cool because it does definitely have that Saturday morning cartoon vibe, but I don't like first person, so I don't know if I'm going to get it. I just can't. Um, happy to see Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon
Me
um,
too.
getting a nice touch up and coming to the Switch. The fact that Peach is getting her own game, just I love how there's very Mario centric, which makes sense because the movie came out. And,
Mm-hmm.
My opinion, Dark Moon was the best Luigi's Mansion.
Dark
Because
Moon's
you
pretty
got,
good.
like,
Yeah.
I forget if it's 4. I think it's 5 mansions. Yeah, it's 5 mansions in that one.
Yeah,
Nice.
Dark Moon's pretty good. But the 3DS was so just I don't know, man. I like the 3DS, but it hurt to play that game that system sometimes. But I have mine. Mine's sitting right here in this case, but I can't find my charger, so I can't play it.
I've got a bootleg charger for mine, and it like overheats
Oh,
Oh
really?
my.
the outlet or something. I don't know. So I'm like scared to charge my DS.
See, I think mine's in this drawer down here that I keep all my controllers and chargers and stuff in, but I'm too lazy to open the doors to the drawer to look for it, and I don't want to play my 3DS bad enough to like search for it.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
Yeah.
my kitty chewed the 3DS charger,
Oh
Mm.
no.
so I had to get a new one.
Zelda.
new cat? Man,
Huh?
that's harsh. You had to get a new
Yep.
cat because they choose your charger?
Yep.
Man,
Right,
Zelda
Zelda?
2. That's Zelda too.
This is Zelda, by the way.
That's the perfect
Zelda.
name.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yeah. Okay. So, to no one's surprise, the things I liked about the Direct were the RPGs that were announced. Like, first and foremost, Dragon Quest Monsters. You guys can have your Pokemon. I'm
Mm.
going to go with what makes Dragon Quest really exciting. All the creatures that. Gosh, why is the artist blanking?
So the Dragon Ball Z guy?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't know his name.
Yeah, he's created hundreds and hundreds of these really cool looking monsters. And this is essentially Dragon Quest with a story, and you're controlling the monsters.
Mm.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. But then we also got the surprise SNES remake game that everyone was anticipating, Chrono Trigger.
Mm.
Sorry guys, I think maybe after Square finishes Dragon Quest 3
Hmm.
HD 2D remake, then maybe they can jump on something else like Chrono Trigger. But I'm happy that we're getting Super Mario RPG, and that Square is helping out with this, because originally a lot of people were like, they'll never, remake it because this was a partnership between Square and Nintendo, and then they kind of fell on bad terms when PlayStation came out.
Mm-hmm.
But it's nice to see return to form, and it looks great.
It's
It's coming out this year.
It's because every character that's not a Nintendo character in that game, Square owns the rights to those characters. So, which is weird that you split the ownership like that. But what do I know? So.
Yep. And then also, I didn't ask for it, but I will be glad to take the Star Ocean second story, or the second, what is it, second departure?
Yeah.
What's the name? Second story.
Yep.
That's right. Second story, first departure. So I will gladly take a remake of that game. Just because Star Ocean's, it's a fun little RPG.
Yeah.
With a very robust crafting system.
Yeah.
You know what? All y'all failed to talk about, which is clearly the most important announcement out of all of these, was
Sonic Superstars.
Just Dance 2024. Those additional songs, man. Come on.
Yes, I want to subscribe to Just Dance Plus for $15 a month for all those cool hip songs. Like
I completely skipped that part of the Direct when I was going back to rewatch it.
It's like, oh, bathroom break.
Yeah. No shade to Just Dance enjoyers.
Okay.
It's not my style.
Yeah, you do you guys, just not us.
You know what I thought was a cool announcement though was the Batman trilogy. Yeah. I'm not gonna play it on Switch because I own it on 3 other consoles. But like, I think it's cool that they're getting another kind of third-party major thing.
It's always so interesting to me when I see them port those types of games to Switch, because you just don't ever think that that's like a Switch game. I don't know, and like you play those games because they're so graphic intensive as well, and like you really want to appreciate that, and you're not going to be able to appreciate that on the Switch. I always get really confused whenever they do that.
Yeah, I'll give you 3 examples of games I played on the Switch. Doom, Wolfenstein 2, and The Witcher 3.
Really?
Yeah.
I heard The Witcher 3 actually is not that bad on the Switch.
Yeah, I mean none of them are actually particularly really bad on the Switch. I mean, they're not the ideal places to play those games for sure, but
right.
But I mean, at the time I played them, Nintendo Power Block was the only podcast I was really doing semi seriously, and so I played those for that podcast. But I mean, I actually really like the way Wolfenstein looks on the Switch, because it's like it takes place in the 60s, and like just that little bit of not HD makes the game look kind of cool in a weird way. But yeah, also looks way better in 4K and 120 frames a second on my Xbox Series X. So
yeah,
it looks
definitely
way better.
But it's got its charm. It's got Switch charm.
Yeah, that's what we're calling it. Yep.
So we got an update on the next Splatfest for Splatoon 3, which makes me ask the question, guys: mint, vanilla, or strawberry?
Vanilla.
What is your favorite ice cream?
Not vanilla.
Ah, that's
Out of those
tough.
Yeah.
three,
Yeah.
vanilla.
Mm-hmm.
I
Don't
don't know.
take
I think
your-
I'd have to go with strawberry.
Oh man, who's picking mint?
You'd
Mint people
be
are weird,
surprised.
man.
They are weird people, but they do have a following.
Oh, they're
The
weird.
color's cool. I like the
Mhm.
mint color. I'll give you
I'm
that.
surprised they didn't do chocolate.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Well, because it wouldn't have looked like
Poop.
chocolate.
Poop.
yeah. Remember when they did? Remember when they did ketchup and mayonnaise?
Yep,
And
ketchup,
everybody just
mayo.
kept making fun of it because it looked like two different bodily functions
Oh.
coming out of each other. So I'm sure they wanted to avoid that again.
Yeah, exactly.
So another game I was excited for, not necessarily, it wasn't announced at the Direct, but they showed it again at the Direct, was Sonic Superstars. I think a new 2D Sonic game in the vein of a new Super Mario Brothers would be super fun, hopefully.
Mhm.
I agree.
I really like the art style, and I really like some of the level designs they showed off, and I like how Mario, like the new 2D Mario and the Sonic game, are going to let you pick your characters, and you don't have to just, oh, I'm playing by myself, so I'm going to be Mario or Sonic. I want to be Knuckles, man. Got to climb all
Yeah,
the
exactly.
walls and find the secret lives and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
no
that game kind
reuse.
of caught me by surprise too.
Yeah, no reused levels either. They said these are all 100% new levels, so that's pretty exciting too. Anybody else excited for anything? I'm trying to go through the list here. That Penny's a big breakaway. That indie game with like the yo-yo grappling hook thing looked kind of
Yeah,
cool.
made by the creators of Sonic Mania.
Yeah,
It's pretty cool.
yeah, that game looked really cool.
I always go for them 3D platformers.
Yeah,
Not gonna lie, that's a guilty pleasure of mine.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Same here.
yeah. That game looked really interesting. I've found that grappling hooks tend to make games better, and the fact that you can kind of grapple wherever you want with this yo-yo seems pretty. Yep, I'm all for it.
Yeah, like that could just be the game, and I would play it for hours.
Yeah.
And then when you collect those, I thought they were rings. They make the Sonic ring sound.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that perfect little chime.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Anybody excited for Detective Pikachu?
Yes.
Yeah, a little bit. I didn't play the
Yeah.
first one, and
I
I
didn't
find the
either.
voice acting a little disturbing. But I'm
Voice
going to give it a try.
acting.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of threw me off.
I mean, my only exposure to Detective Pikachu was the movie, and
Me too.
and so like when you get this like weird, deep, almost Danny DeVito knockoff voice doing this instead of Ryan Reynolds, it sounds weird. But
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's funny how they opened up with the Scarlet and Violet DLC. Like, I'm glad it's something that'll give me something to do because I did get the game, but they've showed this DLC before. They showed it again with a little bit of more information, but they still didn't give a precise release date. And I know they're going to show it again at whatever next Pokemon presents. So
Mm.
I think that's the only reason why I wasn't terribly excited when I saw it open with that.
Mhm.
Because I'm like, all right, well, I saw it already. I know I'll see it again.
Mhm.
I mean,
That's why you need to drop the Pokemon and go to Dragon Quest Monsters.
There you go.
So yeah, lots of Pokemon there.
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
I
think.
never did. Oh, someone cut out.
Oh no, I think we're good. Sorry.
Yeah, I never did pick up the what was it? Violet and
Scarlet and Violet. Yeah.
yeah, I didn't pick those up. I've really fallen off of Pokemon games honestly since I don't know. Like I really want to see them bring back the 2D ones. Like let's get one of the ones with the 3DS 2D aesthetic, and that's what I really want to see. I don't know. I haven't been super sold on that. I mean,
Mhm.
I'm assuming you guys have probably played some of the newer 3D ones. I mean, like, do they really
Mhm.
feel worth it?
Well,
And they're
oh, go ahead, Pat.
decent. They're decent. I mean, the series really hasn't innovated itself much until this new one with the open world.
Right.
But it's well, no, this new one's definitely changed the formula a little bit. It's still got the the gym leader badges, but then they offered a couple other stories, which is essentially the other elements that the badges don't cover.
That's cool.
Yeah, I only was in the first few generations of Pokemon, like Red, Blue, Gold, Silver, and then I stopped. I'm like, all right, that's enough because it's becoming
Yeah.
more the same thing. And then I only hopped back on Pokemon when Arceus came out, and then Scarlet and Violet because
Mhm.
it was different, open
Right. Yeah.
world, quote unquote, and a completely new generation. So I was willing to do it.
Yeah.
And also my son was old enough to play games, so I'm like, oh my gosh, we can now bond over Pokemon, which again he
Right.
abandoned for Minecraft. But I'm not bitter.
Now, if you're looking for that like 2D experience with kind of a 3D touch, I definitely recommend the Pearl and Diamond remakes
Yeah.
that they did.
I got that one. That's the last Pokemon game that I have purchased. It wasn't bad. It definitely wasn't bad. I don't know, something about it. I never finished it.
I
I,
never
I
finished these either.
yeah,
I
I just didn't finish it. I don't know, and I was like, I know this is just the remake of a game that's good. But I don't know. Again, it just didn't have that charm that like the 2D ones did. Maybe
Hmm.
I'm just being too old school. Like I've played tons of like ROM hacks of Emerald. I just find
hmm
those more enjoyable, where like people are making fan storylines and they're expanding on the old school Pokemon games. I don't know. It's weird. I don't hate Pokemon, but yeah, I played that one and it wasn't bad. No shame to any new Pokemon fans out there. They seem really cool. Maybe it's like you were saying earlier, Stephanie, with like just there's so many or maybe it was you, Corey, like there's just so many open world games coming out now.
Hmm.
And like every single type of game is jumping on that,
Yep.
and maybe it's not necessarily all that good. Like that's why it is really nice seeing that new 2D Mario game come out. Like I was really excited to see that. Um, and I don't think we need like more open world. You don't
Hmm.
need to throw open world on everything. Just
Right.
Mhm.
because Zelda did it doesn't mean every
hmm
single game has to do it.
Right.
It works, but it doesn't always work.
And no, like if you've listened to the previous podcasts, I always complain about like we're also running out of good Pokemon ideas. Like there's one that's like a chandelier. There's one that's a freaking vanilla ice cream cone. There's one that's
I
a
saw
bag of
that.
trash. Like
Oh
okay,
God.
like
Aren't
And
there
there's one that
motorcycle
looks like
Pokemon in the new
a
one?
phallus.
yeah, it's like an engine. I'm like really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's goofy. I've been seeing much
hmm
cooler like monster designs from like indie Pokemon type games. Like
Yeah.
there was that Digimon one that came out recently, cassette tape
Oh yeah,
Pokemon.
Oh
cassette
yeah,
beasts.
Yeah, cassette beast looked really cool. There was
Temtem is
another
pretty
one.
popular.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like
Then
I
you
don't know,
got the Pokemon with guns coming out someday.
Oh yeah.
that one looks interesting. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that one still, but it looks kind of cool.
Yikes.
hmm
The story is a little weird.
Yeah. Uh, yeah. I don't know. I haven't played Pokemon really seriously since like Gold and Silver, so I don't really have an
And
opinion.
those are like the best ones, man. Especially the
hmm
Heart Gold and
Yeah.
Soul Silver on DS. Those were some good remakes.
Yeah.
You got the little Pokemon following you.
I was actually really excited when like Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee came out because they were just like focused on the original 151 and relatively simple. And
Yeah.
my daughter actually likes to play them a little bit because she just likes to throw the Pokeball and hope she catches it. And,
Yeah.
uh, you know,
I would love another Pokemon Ranger game, but I don't know how they would do that.
Yeah, I feel like that's because that was very specific with the stylus and all, right?
hmm But they had great stories. I
Yeah,
enjoyed I enjoyed them.
totally.
well, do we have anything else to say about the Nintendo Direct? I I thought it was pretty decent. It had a lot for me. I'm excited. Oh, man, Pikmin. Man,
Pikmin.
I texted
hmm
I texted Ed earlier. I'm like, screw Pikmin 4. I'm playing Pikmin 1.
That's kind of how I feel right now. That's exactly how I'm thinking. I'm definitely going to be playing the hell out of Pikmin 4 when it comes out, but I was definitely more excited to see those remakes come because I had been dreaming of that, man. Like,
Are you
Yeah.
please
guys
get
gonna
those out
triple
there.
dip when the physical comes out in September?
Yeah, I already pre-ordered the physical copy.
They're doing pre-orders of the 1 and 2
Yeah.
remaster?
Yeah.
hmm
It's a bundle. It's a bundle too for
Oh.
$50.
Nice.
Oh, I gotta get that.
Yeah. It's I know we've kind of been running along, but we've been talking about this on Nintendo Power Block for a while. Like, it really seems like this last stretch of the Switch's life is like really primed for the GameCube and the Wii remasters, and we are starting to see them come in droves, and I'm so excited.
I'm here for it.
And now that like we're getting my favorite games, Metroid Prime, we got Pikmin 1 and 2 now. You know, I know people are excited for Bat and Kato's coming. Man, now
Wind Waker will probably be coming soon.
Yeah, Wind Waker and Twilight Princess hopefully next year. Like, we're starting to get them now. Now we just need Nintendo to pick up the phone and call Mistwalker and say, "Give us an HD version of Last Story. I don't care what it costs. I will pay $70 to play the Last Story. It is extremely underrated JRPG on the Wii that probably nobody played." And man,
we are more likely to get a Xenoblade Chronicles X before that.
Yeah, that too. Also, yeah, I mean, there's not much to port over from the Wii U anymore either. It's Star Fox Zero and Xenoblade, and I don't know if you want to do Yoshi's Woolly
Can
World.
we get Star Fox Adventures again?
No.
I want Star Fox
I wouldn't
Adventures.
mind, but I doubt it.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're gonna cut it off there. Noah, thanks for joining us tonight. I'm really, again, happy you joined us, and I wish you all the success with your game. You want to tell everybody real quick again where they can find you, find the game, buy the game, everybody.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's I mean, if you want to follow along the game and whatever game I work on next, it's SomeHumbleOnion, like on everything: Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. Those are my main ones. And yeah, Smushi Come Home. It's on Steam and Switch right now. It'll be on Steam for 20% off for like another 2-3 weeks at least, and then it's on Switch on sale for 20% off also for the next week or so. Yeah, definitely check it out if you like Pikmin, if you like open worldish games, if you like chill games, if you want to just relax and have some good vibes and like actually beat a game and 100% a game, you know, check it out. I think it's really just a nice little story to play through. I mean, that's just coming from the creator. I don't know if I can really talk about my game because
I will second it as the one who's played the game. It's good. It's not hard to 100%. There's a little backtracking, but the secret that you get with backtracking is actually really awesome.
Nice. I'm glad you saw that.
Yeah, no, I that was pretty cool.
Awesome.
What you did there.
Yeah, I'm gonna be playing it. I'm gonna be playing it this weekend. So
nice.
Very
Hope
excited.
you enjoy it, man.
Yeah, I will be tweeting at you about the game to let you know how I feel about it, and then I'll probably talk about it next week on the show. So thanks again for coming on and taking the time, and wish you all the success with this game. I want to thank everybody out there for watching and or listening. You can follow us on Twitter at Boss Rush Network. Check out bossrush.net for all of our content. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, all that stuff. If you want our shows early, you can go to Patreon for as little as $1. You can get a bunch of things early, all that stuff. So I want to thank everybody for watching and or listening. And until next time, we love you. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
The Boss Rush Podcast is a product of Boss Rush Media, LLC, and is recorded from our headquarters in Akron, Ohio. This show is produced, written, and directed by me, Corey Dirrig. My co-hosts are Stephanie Klimov, LaRon Dawkins, and Edward Barnell. You can find Stephanie at Klimov_author on Twitter and Instagram, as well as on the EXP Cast. You can find LaRon at Exodus803 on Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, and YouTube, and also on Crossroads, the video game podcast. You can find Edward at ThatRetroCode on Twitter and Instagram, as well as hosting Nintendo Power Block. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at IamCoreyInHD, and find me hosting Tower Casuals, the Destiny podcast, and co-hosting Nintendo Power Block. Find the Boss Rush Podcast on all social media platforms at Boss Rush Podcast. You can also follow Boss Rush Media and Boss Rush Network on all major social media platforms. Join the Boss Rush Network Discord and Facebook groups to interact with other friends and fans. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.